Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Welcome to I Didn't Kill Myself This Week. Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to I Didn't Kill Myself This Week. And I hope you're all feeling like you are just super proud that you didn't kill yourselves this week. And happy to sit and listen to us just talk about random things. Actually, this week we were hoping to talk to you about, this is super exciting. So we're all going to Disneyland as a family coming up in December, so soon. And some of us are excited, some of us are not. I'm personally super, super excited. And this kind of got us talking about trips and, all that fun stuff and fun family trips that we've had in our lives. Actually, I just thought of another one. We went to Drumheller as kids. That was an awesome trip. But yeah, so we're going to talk about our trips and surviving trips with your family, because
all our trips are with our family.
all our trips are with our family.
Yeah.
And the fun, part of just surviving that mentally and thriving and having the best trip you can have. So,
And I'm one of the people that doesn't want to go on the trip, but we're going to do it for other people, and you might have to do this in your life, so I hope you can learn from our beautiful examples of putting others first.
it actually kills me that you're not that excited, Natalia, because
yeah, and you bitches are getting paid for. Tanner and I aren't, so no complaining.
You guys have been so many times.
Also,
I feel
we
like
also paid for ourselves every time, okay?
Yeah, and you have the money to do it. We are living with our parents. Let us have this.
That's fair.
The emotional torture that we lived through Vienna to just... Anyways, okay. Let's just
And you want to
quickly
know
dive
why?
into...
Hang on. You want to know why we have our trip being paid for? Is because our dad... Do you know this, Vienna? He wanted to pay for his friends, Glenn and Lynn, to go on a trip. And
I was the very first person who knew.
Yeah.
Because Mom messaged me and she was like, what do I do to not kill him? And I sent like a super long message and I was like, if he does this before he takes Xena and Quinn, this is exactly what I said. I was like, if he pays for them before he pays to take Xena and Quinn, I will disown him. I will not talk to him. So you know what? You're welcome, Xena. You're welcome.
It's funny because...
It's so wild.
I am so excited though. Okay, let's just talk about our first trip to Disneyland to set the tone
for why we're not
this
so
trip
excited.
So, our first trip to Disneyland. But before we do that, we gotta knock some things off the docket. Vienna, what's your tea bag say?
Oh, you know what? Yeah. It's not in. I took it out. I always take them out. They just don't stand.
Okay, give us an inspirational quote of your own.
I have no motivational quotes, though I will quickly tap into my weekend. I went to a wine cup night, and there was like different cups and everything. And Jasmine's one, of course, because she's so artistic. But do you guys want to see mine?
Yes. I honestly couldn't tell because I saw the lineup.
I knew what hers was instantly. It's blue with the cauliflower on it.
Right? Yes, it's for vitamin. So I will show that one. That's actually not my cup that I did first. This was my cup in place of my cup because my cup wasn't appropriate. So this was the Vita cup, and it just says Vita and her birthday, and that's my little...
So I saw that one, and I was like, "Oh, that one's Vienna's for sure."
Yeah.
That's amazing.
You know what I noticed afterwards is that I have no white penises. So you got a little theme here. And then want to see the best part when you drink? You got a butthole. When? I was so surprised.
I am surprised too because that is art right there.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
I want one.
Okay, wait. For anyone
pay
that's
you for
not
one.
watching,
Oh, yeah.
not watching, it's like a
You need to watch
beer.
because that was great.
It's just a bunch of coochies and titties and sperm and wieners painted
And
on the
a
bottom
with
of the cup.
and
There's
a booty
butthole.
hole. There's a booty hole.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Vienna.
Yeah.
Oh,
I thought
that
you
was
guys
so
would
good.
enjoy it. Yeah.
That's actually better than an inspirational quote. So
I think that made my week. So
Yeah.
thank you. And it's only
Mhm.
Monday, so we're starting off strong.
it's a great way. Okay, and then a song that is just like getting you through the week.
Yeah.
Juno. Have you ever tried this one?
It's a great song. It's a great.
You know.
Why can I not remember all of a sudden the name of my songs? You go.
I've been listening to Diamond Veins by French 79 and Sarah Rebecca because if I play it in my car really, really loud, it makes life better. I don't know. It's a good one.
I can never, every time that you say a song, I don't know it. I never know. I always have to, look it up and listen after.
The problem is I listen to music constantly, 24/7. And if I'm not listening to music, I'm reading a book. And honestly, it's kind of hard to pull myself away from my book to do the podcast tonight because I'm like 87% done this effing book. And I can't tell if there's going to be an end in sight or if I'm going to be waiting for, forever for another book to come out.
Yeah.
It's upsetting. Okay, Todd, your turn.
I don't know if I said one of these the other week, so I'm going to say two, because then there's a chance that maybe one of them is new. One is Fixin' Me by Ian Munsick, and the other is A Lot More Free by Max McNow.
I don't think you said those ones.
Okay, both of them, I feel like with divorce relatedness, I just am like, oh, yes. These are good.
Me by Ian, and it is very I was like, oh, this is why you like it. It's very, very relatable to your situation.
It's so good. So good.
Yeah.
Makes me so happy when I listen to it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's get on track. Oh, yes, Disneyland, our very first one. Zena, go.
I was 13, and well, pretty much we went to Disneyland. It was it was awesome.
It's like our first time flying ever or something, wasn't it?
First time flying.
Yeah.
It was the first time to a different country. Right?
8, 10, and 13, right?
8, 10, and 13. No,
at the time.
8, 9, and 13. Yeah. I think I just turned 13 too. And we went. It was going to be great. And then our parents bickered the entire time. And then I have weird memories of the weird food that Mom packed for us to eat throughout the day. And one of them was little Viennese sausages. And they were warm because they were in the backpack all day. And then that's what we ate. It's haunted me. So now, just a side note, when we go to the fair and stuff and the kids want to buy food, I'm like, yes, I'll buy you whatever you want. I'm not going to make you eat warm sandwiches or sausages. But yeah,
so sitting in a backpack all day.
Our parents bickered, and then when we got home, they're like, we're separated. And that was it killed
the
vibe. Disneyland vibes.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you guys remember about it?
That's what we remember. That's what I remember. I obviously remember Disneyland, and it was fun going and everything, but I associate them telling us that they were getting separated with Disneyland because it was right when we got home, they were separation.
Yeah. I honestly don't remember that. I remember that now, cracking me up. Sorry. The two things I remember are the poppy seed muffins at the hotel. And I remember, this is such a stupid memory, but this is my one memory of it. I wanted this Stitch toy so badly, and Mom or Dad are like, oh, just get it the last day so you don't have to carry it around, or like at the end of the day, and it ended up being the last day that we were there, end of the day, and we went, and it was all sold out, and I was so sad.
It's funny because it was a good trip. Like, I'm pretty sure I got to do the Bippity Boppity Boutique, and like I remember, like, I had a little crochet. Like, I remember these little snippets that I thought were nice. But yeah, there was a lot of bickering, and then yeah, it's just associated with like separation, and yeah, that was our first big, I guess,
Family trip.
Yeah,
Mhm.
besides 1,000 road trips. We grew up going on road trips all the time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
All
that's
the
what I
time.
remember.
Mhm.
That was
But
something Mom was
mostly
actually
without
so good.
Without
that
Dad.
without Dad though.
Mhm.
So it was like
Yeah.
us girls, Mom, our auntie, and our cousin, and we often went all over the place.
Yeah.
And this one is
Actually,
gonna be
within
with Dad,
BC.
you
Yeah.
guys.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, leading into this Disneyland trip, our parents are taking us, and we're all me, Natalia, our parents, and my two children are driving all the way down together, and we're gonna be gone for like 2 weeks. So, for those of you not watching, looking at Natalia's face right now, it just tells you exactly how she feels, which is just not excited at all.
My face always tells people exactly
It,
how I
yes, it does. So, and the nice thing is for Quinn is he's actually flying down. He's just doing Disneyland for the 3 days we're going, and then he's doing Universal with us, and then he flies home. And we're on a road trip. Vienna, are you driving down or are you flying down?
No. So we are flying down. I think so. You guys come here on Friday, and then you guys leave, I think, Saturday. Or Mom was like, you guys might just drive straight to San Francisco on Friday. Either way, I think we're going to fly out on Friday, and then I think we're going to go golfing and maybe enjoy some restaurants and just chill. And then instead of doing 3 days like at Disneyland, we're gonna do Disneyland, a break day, and then do California with you guys. So it's just so expensive to do like 3 full days. But we decided to
I
Mm-hmm.
like
might do the break day with you guys. Because I
yeah.
feel like a beach day in between or something. And Mom and Dad can take the kids or something like that. I don't know. That sounds nice.
Yeah. I don't know if King will be going on the break. I think he'll be with us on the break day just because it's so again he's not free anymore, so but it's his third time going, so he doesn't need to go all 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be his third time going under 3, though he will be turning 4 one of the days that we're there, so
Mm.
Aw. What a
Mhm.
little happy birthday for him.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that I'm gonna have a 4-year-old, but yeah, no, I'm really excited. And then we're staying in a separate hotel from you guys, and
Mm-hmm. Aren't you staying with friends? I thought you were staying with friends.
only the 25th to the 29th.
Mm.
I think because they have plans, but for a bit of it, we're going to stay in a hotel.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that sounds lovely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if I had
We're
a choice, I would road trip. I love road tripping, and I'm jealous that you guys are going to do San Diego and or not San, pardon me, not San
San
Diego, San
Francisco.
Francisco, Sausalito, um, Big Sur, Monterey. Like I love all those places. They're so beautiful to me. And
Wait,
Natalia,
Natalia didn't even know we were doing these things. I bet you anything. She had no idea.
I think it's gonna be like I know you're not up for it, like, but if you take out the bickering, you're going to so from my house to San Francisco, I think it's like 14 hours maybe. It's not too bad. And then you guys are spending time there, and you could even try and do Napa, but like Mom's not in a rush, so I'm like if you guys leave Friday and you have all the way to Tuesday, you can see, I don't know. Like Monterey and Big Sur I think are so beautiful. I don't know. I personally love road trips and seeing all those places. But there's a place if you go when you go to Sausalito, you should go to Barbacci. It's just like a cool little spot on the side, and Sausalito reminds me of Nana, and it's kind of like a little Italy. it's really, really cute. I think you guys would like it. So I think you should be so excited. It's gonna be fun.
It is gonna be fun. I'm
I think
excited.
it's fun. Yeah.
Okay. What's the last family trip, actually? Let's say it that way. The last family trip we did was almost 2 years ago. Oh.
Oh, why?
Minus the camping and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah.
And like all
but
being
like
at Vienna's house
trip
or something like that.
and
Yeah.
like
Vacation.
actual trip.
Hawaii was actually
Vacation.
amazing.
It was
Mhm.
amazing.
So
we
good.
went to Hawaii, and at the time the boys were only 2, right?
Killian was 4 months. I know
Killian was
that.
4 months, so then Bronson and King would have just been 2 years old. And I went to
Mhm.
Hawaii for 2 weeks?
It was
1
just
week?
under, I think it was 10 days.
10 days,
Yeah, it's
and it
10
was
days.
perfect. We went to the Big Island. Again, we were all together as family. We all stayed in the same house together. And
Mhm.
honestly, that was like the best trip. That was so freaking fun. We
Well,
went to
It was nice though. We
just too
had
good.
like 2 separate vehicles so we could trade who we were with for different days. Mom did a great job of planning all these different things to see, so we got to kind of drive around and do everything in this short trip. But then also where Mom got to stay was so great. Like I know there's like the beach places, but like the fact that we were in the jungle, could hear the frogs, had the hot tub, like I would go back to that same spot and that
Mhm.
little hippy dippy town every time. Like that was so cool.
Yeah. It was sweet.
That
And what was it, like Uncle Something's was this like little
Sam
market.
or something.
Oh,
Uncle Sam.
that's what I was gonna say, but Uncle Sam's, that's exactly what I was gonna say, but I was like, I don't know if that's right. But anyways, it's like a little market and then they have live music and it was so fun. And you just danced and the kids danced and it was a blast. But on one of the days, I feel like you
Mhm.
guys are so good at explaining the story. So I don't know, Natalia or Zena.
Okay. We were on one of our. Honestly, the trip was amazing, but we were exhausted afterwards because we packed so much into it. We literally did the entirety of the Big Island. But we're driving up the coast on the Hilo side, north, and we stopped at this like really beautiful beach, and there was like rocks and people fishing, and we're like, oh, this is so cool. So we're just kind of perusing around and looking around, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that's like a very beautiful fish that is just sitting in a small pond in it. It was hot. And I was like, oh my gosh, we need to set this fish free. Telling this, I sound like such an idiot, I feel like now. But I didn't.
No.
Anyways, it was like the locals were using it for live bait.
bait. In
Yeah.
my
Live bait.
head, bait fish are ugly little fish, not these beautiful things that should be in an aquarium. Like
That's
this fish needs to
100%.
be free.
So, if that tells you anything about the fish compared to like in Canada on Hawaii, they're so freaking pretty. And so we're like, oh my gosh, this thing needs to live.
We need
And
to
then
get the fish.
we said it is free. Well, Natalia did, and then you should tell the rest of the story. Oh
Me?
man. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Natalia should jump in.
Oh, Natalia.
Well, I honestly, I don't remember a ton. I just remember being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna save this fish. Oh, we're saving a fish. Feel so good about it. We set this fish free, and then this tiny little girl comes along and starts
15
like,
tops. 15.
yeah, man, she was talking some smack. She was a sassy little thing, and she needed a pow pow, as far as I'm
She
concerned.
was a little savage. She I don't know if you're allowed to say that anymore, but she was vicious. That's maybe a better word for it.
Who was she talking to? I don't even remember. Was it?
The majority of us, but
Yeah.
Vienna.
Yeah, I know Vienna talked back, but I don't remember who she was talking to during.
All of us. She
All
would
of
get
us. Yeah.
pissed off at all of us.
Anyways, we
Didn't
got
we
rid
make
of
a
her
joke and
alive.
say we're so sorry we live in igloos or something like that?
I
No,
think
we
we just
said we should have, I think is what we said. But we did apologize. But then she was still being a bitch. So then
Vienna's
her
like, someone hold my child.
I
Take the
said,
baby.
yeah.
Oh, you were
yeah,
holding Killian. You're like,
I was
take this
holding
baby, I'll
Killian.
fight
And
her.
he's like, what, 4 months old?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm holding Killian. I was ready to knock this out. She was so rude. I'm like, I get initially I was super apologetic and I'm like, but if I've apologized to you and you're still a beg to me, I want to knock your face in because it deserves to be knocked in. Also, a damn little fish. Find another fish. Find another fish. Okay?
There's plenty of fish in the sea. It's not like you
Yeah.
worked hard for your bait fish. Like, go to the bait store, because we at
No.
least have those in Canada.
I forget, Dina, are there any more details like the conversation that you remember?
Oh, I wish I could remember the specifics of what
I
she said to
remember
us.
her saying that she would smack us. And
Or like
that's why
she was
Vienna
gonna
was like,
knock you out or something,
yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Vienna started seeing red.
Yeah.
And then she was like trying to throw my child at someone else to hold. And you know what? He only turned 4 months old on that trip. So I don't even,
Yeah.
he might have been 3 months old still. And yeah. And then I can't remember how it all diffused, but it did. And it was calm after, kind of. But
I think we were just making jokes of all the Canadian things we should have said to just like,
Yeah. To diffuse the
like,
situation.
diffuse the situation and just show how completely not ignorant we were to it, but like just I guess kind of ignorant to the situation. We just didn't know. Like it was so innocent. Like
Ignorant. I feel like we were more innocent. Like we truly didn't know. It wasn't ignorance. I feel like it would be ignorance if you knew and chose to ignore the fact, you know?
yeah.
But no, we were making jokes, and afterwards in the car, the girls last week were talking about my thighs, and I was making jokes about how I wish I had like got her head in between my thighs and popped her head off. And then about us living in igloos, and like in Canada we live in igloos, we don't know, and we made so many stupid little jokes, but
so many
that
stupid
was
jokes.
Where we come from, we fish from holes in the ice.
I think that was my favorite one. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like
Oh.
yeah, we were so clueless, and she was so mean, and I'm like, you're 15 and you're already this mean.
Yeah, she needs pow-pows. And her nose in the corner for a while. Okay.
Some hot sauce in her mouth, a cold shower, maybe locked in a closet.
Yes.
Oh, that
All
feels like
the
an
ways
episode
of
that we
dealing
should
with
have.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that feels like an episode we should have.
Yes, those are things that all happened to me when I was little.
Well, Vienna was also a savage, way younger than that little girl that we were dealing with, so that's why she knows she needs beats.
Yeah. She was never loved.
That's not true.
But no, okay, so that was one of the stories. Do we have any stories from Hawaii?
Honestly, Hawaii was really peaceful for the most part.
Lovely.
There was like some tensions between people, but honestly, like no, like it was almost like we were a normal family on that trip.
Yeah. It was
Maybe we just need warmer temperatures and ocean, and then we'd all be like nicer people.
I feel like that goes for everybody.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Some people don't like the warm. Some
or
people
just,
are crazy.
maybe when it doesn't get dark at 4 p.m. That would give me less murderous feeling.
Vienna, I actually went to the gym today after work because I got home and I was like, I want to go to bed. And I was like, no, you can't go to bed because then you won't sleep good. And I was like, okay, let's just get our butt to the gym. So I went and walked for 20 minutes. I was going to do that like squat thing we did at our boxing class, but then there was too many people there, so I just came home. But I'm going to bring workout clothes to come work out with you this weekend.
I was going to say, if you can try and find wraps and gloves or order them on Amazon, that way we can do the workout at the same time, because I have it down to a T how I like doing it, and it's so good. And my legs kill, and I sweat, and I get like all my anger out. It's perfect.
Sounds beautiful.
Yeah, I will.
Sounds
I
beautiful.
think Quinn has gloves, doesn't he?
I have gloves. Quinn has gloves. We don't have wraps, so
You can use mine.
Okay.
there you go. Or you can just order some.
Yeah. Okay.
One little camping trip thing that I remember, and it popped into my head, and it can be cut. I don't even remember if it's that good. We were camping once, and Dad and I were fishing, and it was before they separated, so I was 9 or under, and it was such a good camping trip. Like, we sat and we played rummy, and like, it was so good. And then, one of the days Dad and I decided to go fishing. I am mostly just looking for rocks on a beach while Dad fishes, and eating Timbits in the car because it was warm and it was pouring rain outside and miserable. But it was getting to sundown, and Dad's like, "Okay, just one more cast," and he casts it, and he pulls in this beautiful big spring, but it took a while. He fought it for a while, and then he eventually gets it in. And because it's late and you need light, he guts this thing on the hood of the car. Which is gross, but then also, because we didn't have cell service, when we're driving back to the campsite, Mom's been stressed and worried about us, and all she sees is a blood-covered hood of the car. And just lost it on him. And that was just one of my little trip memories that popped into
I remember that. That was his little white car, right?
I don't remember the vehicle. I just remember Timbits, cold, blood on the hood of the car.
Yep.
And that salmon. That was awesome. Like, at the end of the day, that was a real win. And then when we got back to the campsite, it was a real lose.
Camping trips do have a beautiful tendency of like starting on a high note and ending tragically, I find, within our family.
Mostly with drinking, but this time with blood, which I'm not sure
I
if
think
I
that
prefer.
same camping trip, Dad decided to ride his bike at night, and in that campground they had
So it's a different camping trip.
Was it a different
those were
camping trip?
years apart, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
That one was
compartmentalized.
after Nana passed.
No.
The one with he rode the bike. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he hit the rock in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we were at Thurston. I think it's when we spread Nana's ashes. And Neil came and visited for a day and all that stuff.
Well, I don't remember any of
It
that.
was
That's
a very
great.
emotional trip. Mom and Dad are drinking. Dad hops on his bike and he's chasing you on the bike. Yeah.
Me or Natalia?
I thought it was me, but then we
He
thought
was
it was
chasing Vienna.
he's
He was
chasing.
chasing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Or no, you were. Yeah. But anyways, he ended up blaming it on me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He ended up
I was just trying to get her, and then he
on
smashed
me
into
because he was following me, but then he ran into the rock while he was drinking, and it was my fault.
He flipped over those
Yeah.
handlebars.
and
Yeah.
smashed
It was
his shoulder.
so funny.
It was.
And then he came and he sat back down in his chair, and there was like an empty can, and he got so mad that this can was there and then chucked it at us, and he's like, "Oh, why is this can here?"
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I do not remember this at all.
Oh, and then I remember Mom, because she cooked food. She should not cook food when she's drinking because it's never that great. But she was cooking food and drinking and not eating, and then later she'd thrown up, and then I just remember her sprawled out on the hood of the van and just spitting.
Yes. 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 Yeah.
That I remember because
Yeah.
it was really funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The joy.
Good times.
Good times. Good times. Okay. Next trip on the docket is
Italy.
while our
Oh.
No, I was gonna say Drumheller while we're in the childhood realm of things.
Yeah.
That was a good trip. It was like Mom and our auntie and our cousin and us. We drove to Drumheller, but we Mom's amazing at planning trips. So we hit like 7 or 8 waterfalls on the way, right? And
Yeah.
then made our way to Drumheller, stayed in like a nice hotel. We camped, we did a bunch of things, and in that trip, me and Auntie were pretending to be like spies in the hotel.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that you guys were there, but
No.
we're talking like rolling down the hallways and like somersaults and like high. So fun. That was one of the highlights. And then one of the hotels we stayed at had this like epic pool and
With
the
the slide.
slide. And you like it jettisoned you out. Like you skid across the water before you even sink in. That was so fun. I loved it.
That was cool.
One of the main things that I remember from that is Taylor and I, because so Zena and Natalia are both older than us. Taylor and I are 6 months apart, so we're always like, we would always be in the far back. And the music we listened to was just like older music. Anyways, I remember like, I don't know if you can see my legs, but like we would be listening, I would walk 500, and we would be like kicking our feet on the stairs, and we screamed our little hearts out to that. And like that trip makes me think of 80s music and just puts me back to like, I hear certain songs and it puts me in that trip. But
Well,
That's
Mom
so
and
funny.
Auntie, we had taught them how to use LimeWire
yeah.
right before that trip.
Yeah.
And so they had made like
CDs.
CDs on CDs on CDs of like just the 80s music. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. Bit of 70s, yeah.
It was
Yeah,
great.
What
that was a good one.
I remember, that was in my like boy phase, because I remember that picture where I'm like this and you guys are all hugging me because I didn't want to be part of the pictures, and I was wearing like a turtleneck and dressed
Yeah.
retardedly. You know, it's a good phase to go through. It helped me get to where I am now, I guess. But I remember that. I remember being a stinker butt about stuff like that. And then I remember, I remember we did chocolate bars. They were called Thins or something, and they were like calorie-wise chocolate bars that Mom and Auntie had. And I always was trying to sneak them because they were trying to ration them, and I wanted the chocolate bars. So I remember that. I also remember that was the trip that I had headphones on and I was singing to my music on my little iPod thing. It was like that one of those mini things.
iPod Shuffle.
Yeah.
That's when I got asked to stop singing because I was bad at singing. It still haunts me, and I know I'm a bad singer, but just let me live my life, okay?
You've gotten a lot better since then.
Anybody who listens to the podcast knows I'm a bad singer now, so I have nothing to hide.
And then one more thing I remember about that trip, because we started here, we went up to like Banff and the ice fields and then down to Drumheller, is Zena almost fell on the ice field. She was dropped her camera or something and went to get it and then slipped. And it was this like river that went under this ice glacier, and like I just remember like trying to get her and not die.
Yeah.
Talking about it makes me want to vomit, and I feel like, you know what, Zena, I'm gonna blame you on my eternity of anxiety now, because that is the first time that I remember having hardcore anxiety. Like I just remember the feeling. I'm like, oh, she's gone, she's dead, bye.
I didn't even touch the water, you guys. Didn't even touch it.
You were too close. It was terrifying.
Your toe almost did, for starters. It was so close to the water. Second of all, it's terrifying, Sina. How dare you fall?
Oh, well, you know what?
I'm
I
just
think
kidding.
that it's very healthy to have someone to blame for your anxiety.
Yes.
Thank you.
Take no ownership and never move forward.
I'm here for you to blame for all things.
It's funny.
And I won't throw it back in your face. Like,
yeah. Goodness. I was driving Jasmine the other night, and she goes, I feel like you're a really anxious driver. And I go, no, I'm actually just an anxious person. I'm like, kind of in everything, just all around anxiety.
Oh,
you
that makes me
remember?
think. Sorry, go ahead, Zena.
No.
You go.
No, you being an anxious driver makes me think of when me and you drove to your place in the States and we had the two boys. But it was so frigged. People are so weird. And it was just the most anxious drive of my life.
No, the
Who?
most anxious drive of my life was driving us three up to friggin' Terrace in a snow blizzard where I could not see anything. Natalia was passed out in the back the entire time. Zena was beside me, asleep, awake, asleep, awake. And I'm just
And
like,
sick. And sick. I just got out of the hospital.
yes, that's what it was. You were so sick. And Natalia's asleep in the back, and I'm the most anxious driver driving through a blizzard. That was hell to me. That was hell.
And then Natalia or me, I think Natalia had to pee. And you're like, I'm not pulling over. It's too dark. Nope, I won't pull over. And you're like, you're going to have to hold it till we get somewhere. And
Yeah.
then I had to throw up, and then she had to pull over.
Yeah.
And she didn't like being stopped on the highway. And,
I don't remember this at all.
well,
You were asleep the whole time.
you were
Wow.
sleeping.
That
We
is
had
my
this
superpower.
plan to go to Terrace. And did we have the kids too?
I
We
don't.
must have.
Yeah,
It was
well,
because we would have had the babies. And it was right after my weird thing with my liver, and I thought I was dying. I went very jaundice. My pee was the color of brown tea, like it was so bad. And I couldn't move for like a few days, and then I went to the
So
hospital,
scary.
and they told me about 8 things that I had, maybe, but no real answer. And then like sent me home with morphine. And they're like, yeah, it should get better. That was that. So I was like, I can make this trip. It's only 14 hours in the car. It's gonna be fine. It was awful.
16. Natalia always says
14.
14.
It
but
is
you know what?
14.
This trip
It's
did not
6 to Prince George and then 8 to Abbotsford.
8 to Prince. Oh.
No, the opposite way.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
6 chairs. Maybe not in a snowstorm, but in regular weather conditions, it's 14. 2 trips that pop into my head, not trips, 2 anxious Vienna experiences that pop into my head. Once we were in an automatic car in Seattle. Mom was driving,
Standard.
and Mom couldn't get going on the
Standard.
hill.
Manual.
Yeah, standard.
You said automatic.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. We get the point now.
Yeah.
Standard vehicle. And Mom couldn't get going, and then someone's like, just like pull your e-brake and then let it go. And eventually we got going. But by the time we got going, Vienna was hives. Her whole body was covered in hives. And
Yeah.
then she just burst into tears. Like,
Yeah.
poor thing was so scared. The other time that I remember is with Jesse. We were driving up the hill by Walmart, like coming back to our house, and he started pretending that like the car started rolling backwards. Also, another standard vehicle, like that he couldn't get it going, and Vienna jumped out of the moving vehicle. And then he just put the brakes on. He's like, no, I'm just messing with you. And she's like trying to crawl out of the vehicle.
Yeah, no, I'm such an, and it's so funny because I think about my feral times when I was like 15 and I would like camp in a cornfield and like die in this cornfield. And now I can't even go for a walk by myself because I'm like, that guy is out to get me. Like, this person's out to get me. Like,
I think also having kids makes a big difference, but
yeah, but not even, no.
I'm like, no, she's just been like that.
Yeah.
Like, she used to be so crazy and would like go to the lake at night and go to the parks at night and do all these wild things. And then a few years went by, and I was like, why don't you just walk there? She's like, I'll get raped. That's all there is to it. I'll just get raped. There was no like
reasoning.
No reasoning. It was just this insane fear. So I mean,
that's
I
true.
respect it.
There was also like when we were younger, you used to get me to like test out like the hammocks and stuff to see if they're
Younger?
safe.
Do you mean 4 months ago?
I guess you still do that.
Yeah.
But like I was thinking like you do that, but then you won't like let me climb a tree or something because it's too scary or something like that.
Yeah. Or like we would
Um
be jumping across a river or something and I'd be nervous or anxious and
Yeah,
yeah.
honestly, majority of what Natalia does makes, I think, both of us anxious.
Yeah.
But this leads perfectly into your guys' Italy adventure and how I felt. So,
yeah.
these two little shits were in Italy for. Natalia was there for a year, and Vienna was there for not a year. I can't remember how
2
long
months.
exactly.
Or
2 months.
almost 3 months because then she got kicked. No, it
And then
would
she
have
got
been yeah,
deported.
2 months. Yeah, and then
Mhm.
deported.
Which is a fun.
No,
No.
longer than that.
No, because 3 months is how long you could be there without a visa, and we
Yeah.
had a couple weeks tripped traveling, or
Yeah.
a couple weeks planned to travel, and then also a week in England, so at least 3 weeks. So you were in Italy for 2 months and maybe a week, if that,
Anyways,
and then
she's
sorry.
wrong, but it's okay.
Anyways, we kept in touch a lot while the girls were there, and one night, me and Quinn, I remember exactly where we were. We were out for dinner, trying to live our best life because we weren't in Italy with you guys, and we were at this place where we were having wings. And Natalia phoned me. I
I gotta
phoned
preface
Natalia.
this story first off.
Yes, please.
I was 19. I had turned 19 in Italy, and I feel like this must have been like really close to that time that I turned 19. And mind you, though, when you go there, you can drink when you're what age is it? What's there? Is it 18?
I think it's 18, yeah.
Yeah. So I was already able to drink like before, but in Canada, I couldn't go to the clubs legally. So finally, as like we were able to go dancing to all the discos and everything, and their discos are way cooler than anything we have in Canada. They're way more fun. They're open way later.
Yeah,
They're
they
just
go to like 4 in the morning.
yeah, like you can watch the sunrise. It's just a way better scene, vibe, music, everything. It's just better. But yes, go ahead, see.
Okay, so they're out. They're living their best life. They're going out dancing. They were staying on a boat, you guys. They were I don't know the boat. I don't in my head it's like a small fishing boat, but I who knows. So they're going out dancing and I was already stressed because they're like, "Oh, they're going dancing, then they have to get on a small boat to get to the bigger boat, I think,
Mhm.
and not die or fall into the, Mediterranean Sea and die." Like this is my main concern. And then we're sitting and Natalia calls and she's like, "Zena, I can't find Vienna. I can't find her anywhere." And I was like, "What do you mean you can't find her?" She's like, "I don't know where she is. I've looked everywhere." And I was like freaking out. My husband's like, "Zena, you need to calm down." I'm like, I'm gonna get an airplane. I'm gonna fly there and find Vienna. And then I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I can't fly there. There's if so much time would pass. Like there was a whole roller coaster of emotions. But yeah, how did you find Vienna?
I'll tell my little snippet and then she can tell I'll let you say I'll let you say how you found me because I think it's really funny. Mind you, she was suffering trying to find me. But anyways, I remember the layout of this disco. The bar was like outside and then on the inside we spent a lot of time. Well, I shouldn't say outside. It's kind of like inside outside area. Anyways, they have these cages, and we were having mojitos earlier, and they're intensely strong from what I remember. And we were probably having shots too.
We were doing tequila shots.
Yeah, we were doing tequila shots. Anyway, so we're dancing in these cages because like we didn't want to be bothered by the guys. We were there with each other. We weren't there to be like with any of the guys. We're like we're locking ourselves in a cage, and we danced it up. And obviously, I drank a little
Elevated
bit.
cage.
Yes,
Everyone
yeah,
else was down here. We were up here in the.
yeah. It was so fun. Anyways, I drank a lot, and then I went somewhere, and you go ahead, Talia, your part.
Oh, yeah, we were having a blast, dancing, doing shots. The drinks are, like, hella stronger there, and it didn't really, I don't think it hit us enough, like, fast enough where we're like, whoa, we should slow down.
Yeah.
It
It
was
hit
also,
us
like,
like a smack
hit
in the
us,
face.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like, I didn't really go out until Vienna got there because I didn't know anyone really. And then so my sister got there and I'm like, we can go out and we like party hard.
Mhm.
So we were out. I got sloppy. And then
And
there's
wasn't there
little,
like this guy pursuing you through the night too? And you were like, "Where's Vienna? I need my backup." Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
there was
yeah.
this like long-haired dude who kept putting his arm around me, and I'm like, gotta go, but I couldn't find Vienna, so I'm like, ugh. I'd forgotten about that, but yeah. So I was looking everywhere. I looked in the bathrooms double times because I'm like, what if I missed her? Anywho, and then I was not giving up, but like I needed to like just take a minute, so I went outside to where there was no one, so I could talk to Xena clearly on the phone, and then I think. Didn't I find her while I was on the phone with you, Xena?
Honestly, I can't remember. I just remember being like traumatized.
Vienna was sleeping in the bushes outside the
By the
club
security guard. By the
by
security
the
guard.
security guard.
I was sleeping safe.
Yes, by the security guard outside in the bushes.
Yeah, in the bushes.
And
Was
then
she
we
like
had to
face
walk.
down in the bushes, or was she like laying on her back?
She
I
was
think I
laying on
was
her
like,
side.
yeah,
On your side, just
Yeah,
in your
it was like a
typical.
brick wall
yeah,
with the bushes in there,
yeah.
and then yeah. So she was passed out there, and then so I woke her up, and then we walked back
20
to,
minutes at least. 20 minutes to 30 minutes. It was far.
yeah. It was a far walk.
I
It
remember
was
taking
And
far
yeah.
I
because I was
remember
like,
talking with Xena on the phone most of the time.
you need to let me know when you get to the boat. You need to let me know when
Yeah.
you get the boat to the other boat, and like, don't
I
not tie
lost
the boat to this boat. Like,
my first pair of pink sunglasses in the ocean, so that was sad. Or in the sea.
mm.
When we were bent over, lost them. I still remember it. I was so sad. Then we rowed to their boat, got on, and then next thing I remember is
This is the
we
worst part. Oh my god.
woke up to being yelled at,
Screamed
because
at.
screamed at,
Screamed at.
because we missed our alarm. We chose Luke Bryan for some reason as our alarm ringtone soundness, and it was just lulling us more to sleep. It did not wake us up.
Like, also, yeah, we're in our
Who was
walking boat. We drank too much. We woke up by someone screaming at us because, first off, we were both au pairs in Italy, so we both worked. They were kind
Relate.
and let us sleep in their boat after we went out, and we were like, this is so cool. This is going to be the best experience ever. Obviously, turned out to be a wild one. But the only thing that I find sour about it is that they were screaming at us. And then I think Natalia did have to go to that work that day. But the sister that I worked for, it was her sister. Like, anyways, doesn't matter. She was like, I don't want you working for me today. And she was so pissed off at me. She was such a. And I am the kind of person where I feel so guilty. So I felt so sick from guilt. And then I also felt so sick from the damn hangover. And it was just I just remember that day so clearly. It was so, and I was like, I hate myself. I hate my life. That day I probably could have killed myself. I was like, oh, I just remember these times. I was like, why are you such a hag? Like, just let me
Like,
work. I'll
they
come to work.
were,
I made a mistake. I'm also like 19 and it's my first time living it up in Italy. Like, chill out.
yeah, it was, they were mean. They were definitely mean. So once I got yelled at, I had to race to the store, grab food for the day, because we were taking the boat out and spending the day on the ocean, which, normally would be so amazing, and it should have been if I hadn't overdrank and stuff. And I still had to play with the kids and hang out with the kids and row the kids around in a boat. So I remember rowing the kids around in a boat, playing with them, throwing up and being like, okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
And doing a little bit cliff jumping and being in the sun and in the sea and dehydrated as hell.
Oh,
But it
yeah.
was still a great day.
Yeah. It was so fun. It was a
It
blast.
was an experience, yeah.
It really was. Yeah. It was a good one.
I feel like we also alluded to the point that Vienna got deported, so maybe you should fill us in on that story.
Okay. So I was there and we had Schengen or Shenzhen. What's the zone called? Don't know, don't care. Going on with the story. In Europe, there's a thing. You can be there for however many days in the Schengen, Shenzhen zone, whatever it is. I don't know. And so we were going on this trip and we were doing some days out of it, but there were still some days in the zone. There's like certain parts that are in the zone. And I wasn't going to be going over the amount of days that I was allowed because we were going to be out of that zone for certain parts of that trip. So it was going to be totally fine. I wasn't worried. I was like, whatever. We were so excited. We booked all of our flights, we booked all of our hostels, we booked everything. And it was so cool. It was so stinking, like, I was so excited.
Booked and paid for.
Booked and paid for, yeah. Anyway, so we went to Rome first because we got to do Rome, or was that a separate trip?
No, Rome is where we left from, and you flew out, and then you flew out of Rome because you came back to Italy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I flew out of Milan.
No, flew out of Rome, and then I stayed an extra night by myself. That's where I got lost and drunk in Rome.
You got lost and drunk in Rome?
Yeah,
I don't remember this.
My waiter, he kept giving me free drinks.
Man, I don't remember. Anyways, long story short, it was the worst. We flew into London because we were going to visit our family there, and I got a lady guard. I got some beef with her because I think she's a total bee. She didn't agree with our trip plans, even though they did not go against anything. Long story short, I got detained in the airport overnight. I got searched. Everything got searched. My poor family that was picking me up was waiting there, and I never ended up, we obviously never got picked up. I got, then after the night, I got sent back on an airplane to Italy. Once I got off the flight, I got picked up by an Italian cop. Went into their airport. They asked me questions. They were like, what happened? Why'd they send you back? Blah, blah, blah. They were so nice. I was only there for like hour, 2 hours maybe. And then they're like, okay, well, you just have, like, you got 2 weeks, and then, you have to be gone within this allotted time. So just, like, book your flight home. It was so stressful. I remember the exact dress I was wearing. It was, like, green, long-sleeved, but short, and it was, like, this satin silky. It had, like, a little V-neck with, like, this cream lace right here. It had permanent sweat stain, like, stress sweat stains. I could not get out. Because I was so anxious, and I was like, I'm not doing anything wrong. Anyways, she was not having it. She wouldn't let me come in, and I was screwed from there. We lost all of that money on our flights, our hotels, everything. But my family in London, they were so kind. They booked my flight back home for me because I had already booked my flight back home. So I lost the money on the flight back home as well. So it was a shit show. But
Yeah.
I made it back home, and my poor family was so pissed off when I got back because they knew I was supposed to be there another few weeks. And I was like, I called my dad and I told dad, but I was like, oh, I'm going to keep it a surprise for mom. But she ended up being really pissed off at me for keeping it a surprise. She's like, you should have told me, blah, blah, blah. Because she's like, felt bad that I was detained and then I had to spend the night there. And then, yeah, it was a whole thing. But, you know, whatever. I'm going to go back to London. I hope I see her and I go, just kidding. I will not remember her face. But yeah, that was a fun one.
Good
Rome.
times. Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
drunk and lost in Rome?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
tell us the story.
we went there together. Yeah, and I remember we saw the wild flamingos on the train ride there and stuff.
I remember going. Yeah, of course, remember going to
Yeah,
Rome.
and then that's the trip where we went and we got gifts for everyone. We
Yeah,
got
I
the
remember
penis
all that.
pasta and all that stuff, blah blah blah.
I just didn't think it was at the very end for whatever reason.
Yeah, it was. The only other trip we did together while we were there was
Venice.
Venice.
Mm-hmm.
So you went, I dropped you off at the train station, I think, and then you took that to the airport, and then
Mm-hmm.
I was there for one more night by myself at the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I spent the day by myself. I wore this cute, cute little backless black dress and these sandals that I got there that I still have and love. And I walked around and I just like ate food and had wine. Like it was such a good day. But I didn't have a phone. Like when Vienna was there, was the only phone I had. I just had my iPad. And so when I was trying to find directions to stuff, it was a little had to find Wi-Fi here or something like that. It's a lot harder to find Wi-Fi 10 years ago then than it is now when you're someplace
Mm-hmm.
using your giant iPad to do it. Anywho, the place I went for dinner was amazing, but this waiter said to have some drinks and wait till he got off and that we could hang out together after. So I took the free drinks, but then I said, "Oh, look at the time. It's too late. I'm sorry. I can't wait till you get off work, because also stranger danger." But at that time, I was already lit, and I could not find my way back to the hotel. So it wasn't until 4 in the morning that I made it back to the hotel.
Oh my
I
god.
just walked and walked and walked and walked and walked and walked. Some parts were very sketchy looking, there was no one around. Some parts were very lively, there was people there.
I
But
would
at
not have left people. I would have been like, nope, I'm just gonna. You guys are my people now. I would have made friends and I would have stuck with them. You could not catch me in an alley, though you like danger. So,
Oh yeah, I was so bound and determined to find my way back, and I was like, oh, if something happens, it's part of the story.
jeez, you're crazy.
And I was having a good time. I was singing in a slutty little dress, feeling great. Like, come on. I was only, what, 20 at the time, too? So,
Yeah, yeah,
fun, 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 fun.
Y'all are stressing me out.
yeah.
Oh god, I don't think I knew that. I think maybe you didn't tell me that after the boat thing because I would have just been a hot mess.
I'm pretty sure I told everyone because I was very proud that someone was hitting on me and giving me free drinks, but, I also might not have because that wasn't very responsible. So, I don't know. I was like one of the most reckless times I had, and it was fun. And it was good. And it ended
Mhm.
okay. So then I made it
Good.
back to the hotel. Then I took a train and I went to London and then stayed with our family for another week before flying home.
That was a
Good
blast.
times.
Man,
Nice.
that's just like a few, and I'm sure we could go on and on, but that was good.
There's one more story that it's not a trip, but there's just one more experience where poor Xena had me phoning her right old ripped. But I guess we can share that for another
Oh,
time.
when you were stoned?
No, when I got date raped.
Oh, yes.
No, I've only
Oh,
been getting recently, like for the first time ever in my life.
yeah. We both have stories where we've been date raped, so that could be another episode.
So fun, guys. And
Oh,
I've actually only gone out like a couple times dancing, just sometimes they just get really wild.
I think every time they get really wild.
Not at our fault all the time.
Not
Yeah,
every
it's your
time.
fault because I'm not with you. That's why. I can't have drinks and have fun when I go out because I turn into like a mother hen who's protecting her chicks, and I get really mean to anyone that dances too close or too aggressively. It's like
So do I
It's
now.
not-
I'm kind of like, if someone gets too close to me, I'll just like,
Oh,
you know?
yeah, I am mean to. Well, yeah, I guess nowadays I am mean to other people. Like when Taylor and I went out dancing last time, there was this guy that was all hey, and I'm like, nay, 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 no.
Get
Ew,
the hell
off.
away. Yeah.
back on it.
Zena sent me this video of like her favorite creature is her sister at a bar when guys hit on her or something, and she's like dancing wild, and then the guy comes and she's like, wah!
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing.
Like some wild thing. Yeah.
I would love to do that, but like all three of us turn and do it at the same time.
When someone comes up to you on the street and like, oh, I hate when people try and talk to me randomly. I'm like, don't even look at me.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
Mhm.
too good. Well, I guess we know what we can talk about. That's another thing we can add to our list to talk about.
Oh.
I think I would also like to throw it out there that if you have things that you want us to talk about, if you're a dedicated listener, just ask us and we'll do it.
I know. I'd love to do one day an episode once we actually have listeners.
If we ever have listeners.
If we ever have
Yeah.
listeners, I'd love to do Q&A, like where it's an episode of people asking us questions and we can answer. I think that'd be so fun.
Oh, yes. I'm so tired right now, but we should. Okay, well, let's wrap this up. Thank you for listening. We love you. We care for you. We don't want you to be sad. We don't want you to have the same traumas as us. And we just don't want you to kill yourself this week. And we don't want to kill ourselves either. Sometimes, most of the time.
We're good. All right, love you guys, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.